This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Amanda Stevens, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Monday, April 13th. President Lai Ching-te to make his first official visit to Eswatini in late April. Taiwan's security chief says China's 10 measures aim to advance Beijing's One China agenda. And Vice President Xiaobi Kim calls the defense bill a major strategic investment in Taiwan's future. But first, today's top story. President Lai Ching-te will visit Eswatini from April 22nd to the 27th, his first visit since taking office. Lai will lead a delegation in response to the invitation of King Mswati III, both to celebrate the king's birthday and ascension to the throne. Eswatini is Taiwan's only African ally, with this year making 58 years of diplomatic relations. The trip was announced by the presidential office Monday, where presidential spokesperson Karen Guo explained that the theme of the president's visit will be on celebrating mutual success, focusing on 3 areas: common good, economic prosperity, and digital prosperity. Both countries have cooperated in areas including agriculture, education, and women's empowerment, with future cooperation focusing on constructing Eswatini's strategic oil reserve facility. This project will improve the country's energy security and sustainable development. Concerning economics, Taiwan will promote the Taiwan Industrial Innovation Park, located in Eswatini, which will help Taiwanese business expand globally and connect with the African market. It will also create more local job opportunities, laying the foundations for future strategic partnerships. Digital prosperity efforts will center around helping Eswatini implement smart healthcare and telemedical systems, bridging the digital divide and overcoming geographical limitations. Deputy Foreign Minister Francois Wu explained that the delegation's trip will include meetings in an official capacity, as well as ceremonial events. President Lai will also host a banquet for overseas Taiwanese in Eswatini and southern Africa. The trip is President Lai's first visit to Eswatini as president and his second overseas trip since his election. Wu clarified that the president will not pass through the Middle East while traveling, as safety remains a top priority and regional tensions are still high. RTI's field reporter James Thompson sat in on the National Defense Bureau's response to Beijing's 10 incentive measures, which were released following KMT leader Zhang Li-wen's 6-day trip to China, where she met and spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
The Chinese Communist Party engages with Taiwan's opposition parties for strategic, political and economic purposes, and its recent 10 incentive measures aim to promote its One China framework, National Security Bureau Director General Tsai Ming-yen said Monday. The National Security Director made the remarks at a legislative UN Foreign Affairs and National Defense Committee meeting in Taipei on Monday, one day after KMT leader Zhang Li-wen returned from a 6-day trip to China, where she met Chinese leader Xi Jinping. After that meeting, the Chinese Communist Party's Taiwan Work Office announced a 10-point list of measures, including party-to-party dialogue, youth exchanges, infrastructure connectivity, transportation, and trade. Speaking at the committee hearing, Tsai said that the political aim of those measures was to guide Taiwan toward Beijing's One China framework. Tsai said Beijing uses such preferential measures to increase Taiwan's dependence on the Chinese market, and that any such interactions must be handled through Taiwan's central government rather than private party-to-party exchanges. He added that the measures were a tactic aimed at interfering in Taiwan's elections. Also speaking at the committee hearing, Mainland Affairs Council Deputy Minister Liang Wenjie said that signing political agreements with China without official authorization from Taiwan's government is not permitted under Taiwan's cross-strait laws. He said, however, that the Chinese measures announced were vague and needed further review. This is James Thompson for Radio Taiwan International, reporting from Taipei.
In a Facebook post on Sunday, Vice President Xiaobi Kim underscored that national defense is not simply about spending money on weapons, but rather a major strategic investment in Taiwan's future. She made the statement after American Institute in Taiwan Director Raymond Green's media interview, where he expressed his appreciation for the United States' firm support for Taiwan's defense autonomy and industrial development. Xiao said that, looking back at human history, no country has ever been able to achieve true peace by abandoning its defense and making concessions. Through the special defense budget, she emphasized the long-term security cooperation between Taiwan and the U.S. will undergo a crucial transformation, from that of a buyer-seller relationship to a partnership of collaborative development and local production. The vice president said that Taiwan has not only become the only overseas U.S. drone certification point, but many local companies have also successfully entered the global market for key military components. She pointed out that this means defense investment will become a powerful engine driving the diversified applications of Taiwan's industry. This is not only a completely new path, but also the most solid foundation for realizing society-wide defense resilience. Xiao stated that she hopes both ruling and opposition parties can reach a consensus on national security issues, allowing the special defense regulations and budget to proceed smoothly. She said that when it comes to national security, Taiwan is all one family. There is no room for division, and as long as the people unite and work together, Taiwan can strengthen its capabilities for long-term prosperity, peace, and freedom. Taiwan's Coast Guard administration said Monday that it plans to have finished constructing a new radar system in 2027 to better detect intrusions into Taiwanese waters by small boats from China. It also said it has bought 6 next-generation unmanned drones that can fly for up to 10 hours at a time. Ocean Affairs Council Deputy Minister Zheng Zonglong made the comments at a Legislative Foreign Affairs meeting and National Defense Committee meeting in Taipei. Dozens of incidents involving Chinese nationals using small boats or rubber dinghies to enter Taiwanese waters have raised concerns about such intrusions being a gray zone tactic used by China to undermine Taiwan's national defenses. While most small boat intrusions take place near Taiwan's outlying islands that are geographically close to China, some Chinese nationals have sailed into waters surrounding the country's main island. In a high-profile case in 2024, a former Chinese Navy captain was prosecuted after sailing a speedboat into waters near New Taipei City's Danshui district. Zhang said that the Coast Guard updated its radar system detection guidelines and has conducted 72 training sessions, involving 497 personnel following that incident. New systems, including infrared thermal imaging, will significantly improve Taiwan's ability to detect small boats, he said. American Institute in Taiwan, or AIT Director Raymond Green, said meaningful cross-strait dialogue must include representatives from all of Taiwan's political parties. His remarks come as KMT chairperson Zheng Li-wen's 6-day trip to China concluded Sunday, during which she met and spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping. By comparison, the Chinese government refuses to speak with Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te on the grounds that he is a, quote, separatist. Speaking to RTI on Friday, AIT Director Green said that the U.S. supports cross-strait dialogue and hopes to resolve any differences peacefully, without coercion, in a way acceptable to both sides. Further responding to these reports during a talk show on Saturday, he said that the United States expects China to, quote, maintain open communication channels with all of Taiwan's political parties, especially the leaders elected by the Taiwanese people, end quote. Reuters reported that a U.S. State Department spokesperson said that the United States opposes any unilateral change to the status quo and urged Beijing to engage in meaningful dialogue with Taiwan. Despite this, during Zheng's visit, Xi said China will absolutely not tolerate Taiwan independence and called for more effort towards reunification. Zheng stated that her trip was a peace mission to ease tensions. Zheng's visit to China came at a tense time in Taiwan, as both the national and cabinet proposed defense budgets remain stalled in the legislature. While her own party has called the trip a great success, it has been criticized by members of the ruling DPP party and the Mainland Affairs Council, who see this as political favoritism and theatrics. The Baishatun Matsu pilgrimage is an important event, with people packing the roads to wish the traveling procession well. Songs are often played to accompany and cheer them on.
People crowd the streets across Taiwan as the yearly Baishatun Mazu pilgrimage is underway. The songs accompanying the procession this year include Pink Supercar, a song tailor-made for Baishatun Mazu, has garnered over 5.46 million plays on YouTube since 2023, and its influence could be heard throughout the pilgrimage. The Baishatun Mazu pilgrimage is famous for having no fixed route, with the path guided by the goddess's palanquin, making it known as the Pink Supercar for its fast, spontaneous nature. With familiar melodies to keep the palanquin company, the 8 days and 7 nights of the Mazu pilgrimage won't feel arduous at all, keeping calm and carrying her on. Michelle Chang for RTI News.
Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Amanda Stevens. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features, brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.